were today. I'm not sure they would be like if they played a series of games like a
Oh, right, right.
but
Yeah, no, probably. You see, is the light okay? You want me to? Does this
looks
help?
good. Looks good to me. Mine's all
Is
blurry.
that?
All right, let me
There.
blue sky and tweet these links out here. There. Hello, YouTube people. If anybody's on there watching, we are about to go live here. All right. Hello there, and welcome to the Old Head Hawkeye Rapid Reaction Podcast. Able to get all that out even after burning my ass up for a quarter in Kinnick Stadium before coming home very warm for a late September game. But that's the weather in Iowa. Nobody wants to talk about the weather. I am Rob Howe, joined by Mark Morehouse, who was fortunate enough to watch the last three quarters of that game. I watched the first quarter and then decided to listen to the Indiana Learfield feed, Mark, just to kind of get a different, vibe and see what those guys were saying. But very complimentary of Iowa and Iowa's game plan. And Iowa did get uh, Indiana into a wrestling match, but couldn't get the pin.
No, absolutely. It was weird watching. So maybe Indiana just does not have the firepower to just simply blow past Iowa, and I think Iowa kind of made that point today. Unless they're on the road and they're playing a gritty team that with its starting quarterback has a hard time with offense. So to me, I think Indiana kind of maybe played conservative, maybe played Kirk's game a little bit, just like Matt Campbell and Iowa State played Kirk's game, played it down to the last um, possession. Uh, and then when you're playing that game in this game, let's be honest, Iowa and Kirk were tracking for that this game. They wanted to make it a four-quarter game, and they gritted that out. The difference is your quarterback getting hurt, and that kind of unplugs everything. I mean, I think Iowa did about everything right except Deshaun Lee missing a tackle on the Elijah Sherritt. That was a tough matchup all day. I was surprised to see Iowa go zero blitz there and leave 1-on-1. I think that was the third time that matchup did not go Iowa's way, and a bad time in the game to kind of let that one go, in my opinion. But um, beyond that, it comes down to probably Gronowski makes the third down play. Um, the play calling for Hank was weird. The screenplay, it was there, but that's a tough play for a new QB to make in a pressure situation. So kind of odd, but not. I think they did I think everything went right until the QB got hurt, and maybe not right, but everything went to plan until the QB got hurt.
Yeah, and it's a scenario we've seen how many times in Kinnick Stadium, Mark, where you get a
Oh,
ranked team come in there, and by the way, that was Iowa's 11th straight loss against a ranked team. Um, but you get a ranked team in Kinnick, different vibe during the day. I think if that thing's at night, maybe I was able to pull that out. If there's something that happens at night at Kinnick, but good crowd today. It was very loud. Um, as you said, the game plan went as planned, but we've seen it again through the years, those games where it doesn't go, the ball doesn't bounce your way. And it didn't today with the quarterback injury. It didn't against Iowa State. This one today reminded me a little bit of that Penn State game where Iowa was in it all the way to the end, and then that kid scored the touchdown in the north end zone. Tall receiver. I can't think of his name. He went to the NFL, what year that was, but Penn State won it on one of the last plays of the game. And that was a game where it was like back and forth. Had a chance to pull it out and didn't. And I'm sure we could go through the Rolodex of the times it did work out and the times it didn't work out. And the seasons where they do work out are the really special seasons. The seasons where they don't work out, you're looking at kind of where it is now. But again, they're only 5 games into this season. There's plenty of football left. We don't know what Gronowski's injury is moving forward. but I can tell the vibe, just a quick reaction on social media after the game, Mark, and it's that ugh, because
Yeah,
it's not even October, and you're at an Indy probably, and
probably.
you're probably out of the college football playoff with two losses. That's almost definite. So now you've got the rest of the season as a fan. What what gets you hyped up?
So to me, you want to see. Uh, I think, and this is going to be nobody's fault. It's going to be nobody's blame. But there's just that kind of vibe where, boy, you want to see Iowa get its money's worth from a quarterback. And honestly, today I thought I saw a little bit of that from Gronowski. I mean, after a rough first quarter, which is going to be rough because Kirk's not going to call a lot of chancy plays, and it's going to be grind ball. He was 14 to 17 for a while there. I can't remember what he finished with, but let's see. I can look that up real quick. He finished with 25, just 144 yards, and I think that speaks to maybe what Iowa is and isn't as far as explosive team. But sorry, I got a text from my wife and lost my track.
Indiana was
Uh,
pretty much Indiana was, at least from what their broadcasters said, they were committed to just playing that soft zone and keep
yes,
everything in front of them because they knew Iowa couldn't get behind them.
right. And so then Iowa had to string together, multiple play drives, and they did. I mean, they got it going, and that's when I thought there was some real growth. Gronowski seemed to be waiting for his receivers, seemed to be finding spots in the zone much better today. Couple of really bad plays with protection in the first half, couple of blitzes where CJ Beathard probably has his head up and say, "Wait a minute, we outnumbered over there. I'm not going to let that guy sack me." So there were a couple of those plays. I don't know if that goes back on Gronowski, but and sort of a new QB in that situation, I can see that. But I'm not. I thought there was positivity there today, and so beyond that, I think Iowa fans, you want to see a quarterback who you paid for, and let's be honest on that, come through. And so because that makes it a lot easier to maybe get the next guy. So and then we'll see with Hank Brown as a starter. He looks unsure, which he Rob, how many reps do you think number two QB gets at Iowa? I mean, let's be honest, over the years, Stanzi, I remember when Stanzi and Vandenberg, Stanzi got 99% of the reps and he knew everything that was going on. So yeah, Iowa number two quarterback is not a practiced player. So it'll be interesting to see how fast they can get him going. And I thought, and this is just me being a million miles away. We've seen a lot of knee injuries, and in my opinion, that probably was a sprain. But John Elway played a damn season without an ACL, so I would hate to really, if I were in print and journalism anymore, I would not. But I think it was a sprain.
It's an interesting dynamic too, right? Because you're paying this guy now. So in the past, where maybe you're like, all right, we're not going to push this kid. Now it's like, you got to get back and help us win.
Get in the training room, man.
Yeah, it's a tough balance. It is. And you know, obviously another aspect of this game was the missed field goal, right? That's you got a senior kicker. That's certainly a moment I know he's living for, is to try to put his team ahead. And he makes that field goal. Kinnick's going freaking nuts. He misses it. The air comes out of it. Then you let the Indiana quarterback, who got paid a lot of money to come from Cal, to go to Bloomington. Imagine going from Berkeley to Bloomington. Anyway, um,
Yeah.
he made a
Both ideally
right.
college settings.
Yes, and I
Idyllic
and,
college
and I don't want to rip on Bloomington. It's like compared to West Lafayette, it's like the
settings.
era, right? I'm ripping on Indiana,
There
the
is
state,
that. There is that.
but the kid saw the zero blitz, right? He read the
Yeah.
zero blitz, made the throw, and Indiana got its money's worth. It's still in the playoff picture, and it's 5-0.
Yeah. That 7 seconds there before the 2 minute warning. Oh my goodness.
Oh, the
That
clock management through the
yeah,
year. Man.
7 seconds there that was just the worst. I skeeted that you cannot have the worst 7 seconds. Auto racing, you're in the pits. You can't have a bad 7 seconds. Rodeo, you're on a bull. You can't have a
Um,
bad 7 seconds.
that could
That
be
was a
fatal,
really terrible
unfortunately.
7 seconds. The play I think was open. The screen pass that they called for Hank to get the first down, or even just get even a few more yards, it still stopped the clock. It was open. It still stopped the clock. At that point, you want Indiana to use a timeout, and it ended up it didn't matter. I mean, it ended up it didn't matter, but um, yeah. So that's 7 seconds to me. I mean, everything that could go wrong, including the Stevenson field goal. It's like holy shit. I mean. They drove their NASCAR off a cliff right through the pits and onto a horse. The horse bucked them off another cliff. I mean, worst 7 seconds you can imagine. Still had a chance. I mean, this whole game. I mean, Iowa kept them. It kept it kirked. That kept it a 4-quarter game. And like you said, we've seen a lot of these over the years. I don't want to know what the streak is now, what they are one-score games. That was one that you kind of had to keep, Rob, as a beat
Yeah.
writer for
Oh,
Iowa,
yeah.
because for Kirk, it comes down to that. So I don't want to know what they are now. You said on ranked teams, it's not good. And to
They've
me,
lost the last 11 against ranked teams, and they were really a lot of those were very lopsided. The championship games in Indy were bad against Michigan. Some of those were pretty brutal. Today, though, I mean, I don't think you fault the effort. It's just the execution at the end, and certainly some coaching decisions
yeah,
that
yeah. I
questions as
mean,
well, right? There's players and coaches today, right?
yeah, 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 yeah. It was a shit sandwich, and everybody's taking a bite. Uh, actually, I had to. I did quote R. Lee Ermey character from Full Metal Jacket on Skeet today. So yeah, there's that too. But yeah, no, I think they threw a scare in the number 11 team in the country in Kirk's way. I think the way Iowa pulls up right now, where outside we think, man, you're down to this, you got to go for it. You're down to this, you got to go for it. I think the way Iowa pulls up now is going to really grate on its fans. I mean, it already does. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, the jokes come from you guys more than me when I bring up Iowa's offense. All I got to do is bring up Iowa's offense, and you're on the joke. Um, I think the pulling up is it's going to be very corrosive. I think they could use some positivity, and thank goodness Wisconsin is on the board next week. It's one of those games where like you said, they're not playing for anything championship level now. But this is an important game. This is something they have to win. It's something that kind of resets the program's Vegas nerve and kind of gets it, right. And after today, a lot of stuff felt right. It's just wrong place, wrong time with a new QB, and maybe getting a little greedy and a little aggressive in a very inopportune time. And hey, and that the Indiana quarterback Fernando, oh my goodness. So now that this game, I'll watch their games knowing his personality. I liked his personality. The way he plays. He got I kept waiting for the really bad decision, and it didn't come.
Yeah, the one he threw that Lutmer picked late in that game, he took a pretty good shot and it kind of threw off.
Yep.
And that's where
Yep.
the blitz worked, right? So then Phil dials it up again. The kid learns from the mistake, right? And it's boom, gets that thing out on the quick slant. And again,
There was a little bit of that in this. I felt, Rob, in this game, Indiana coaching staff did a little bit better job learning and
yeah,
during the game.
and
I
adjust.
thought the blitzes in the first half that Iowa didn't respond to. I think there were two. One, one, I assume. I mean, I assume the protocol is batten down the goddamn hatches. How the hell did that happen? But then it happens again. And then 3 shots with Elijah Sherratt, the probably NFL level wide receiver, against the same coverage. And that's I mentioned the pulling up, but that's also that stubbornness. That well, this is going to work this time because they can't make all those plays. That's also going to start to be great on fans too. But if they win, it doesn't matter. There's no grading at all except for cheese and your spaghetti. And that
Is
was lame.
Is 20 to 15 scoregami? I hear that term scoregami and I have no idea what it means. But 20 to 15 is a weird score.
I think it's more of a Tetris. It's more of a Tetris because you
Okay,
got to
I
fit
got
certain things into a certain way to get a
that.
15 on. I think 11, that's scoregami because that's 11 is like Jackson Pollock painting score. You got to, something weird's got to happen for 11 to work.
Yeah. And
But
and
I
it,
like 15.
yeah, 15 is a good number.
What's your number?
Indiana, according to the Iowa notes here, just perusing these a little bit here, that was Iowa had a 7 game winning streak at home that was snapped. But this is Indiana's first victory in Iowa City since 2007. Now, I know they haven't
Oh,
played a lot, but that's a long time.
I remember that game. I think 9 sacks. Does that sound right?
Yeah, that one
Okay.
was not pretty. That was
Yeah. Indiana had a good run of defensive linemen, and man, it was all on show that day. Indiana is so when Iowa loses to Indiana, it's kind of a program wake up call, right? I mean, everybody is sort of a middle rank here, and Indiana, the program has come a long way. I mean, I know Iowa fans hate to hear that. Here comes Iowa State. Here comes Northwestern. You know, here comes Indiana now. I mean, Indiana wanted to have football. Their stadium is they built. Rob, you started going there. It was 20 years ago too, and it was. I mean, it was literally. Is the county fair here? Is there Big Ten football? And now it's a Big Ten football stadium. So another program that has made those strides. They seem to have the right alchemy with the coach. And, Iowa fans watch that and they see the newness and, it's going to get frustrating. But, you know, Iowa also, on the other hand, Iowa does, I think a large percentage of Iowa fans do have Kirk as their ride or die coach for Iowa. How that, so we're watching now how that ends. I mean, let's be honest, this is not going to go forever. We're watching how that ends. And, how long can you ride or die when it's, when it's this stuff again, when it's stuff that maybe you should have been just a little bit better. And, it's no argument against Iowa for what it did or didn't do in this game so much. The screen passing, I don't know, the failed special teams, getting a punt blocked again. I mean, that's some slippage, and maybe that should worry you, but I didn't see anything that was, you know, take this car off the road.
Yeah, it's, the times where Iowa looks really bad are rare. Like we talked about, some of those ranked teams, those Michigan machines that Harbaugh had hit towards the end of his run there in Ann Arbor, they were doing that to a lot of teams. It's just, you know, you got Penn State and Oregon still coming to Kinnick this year. So there's still opportunities for some really good memories. You go to USC, there's a chance to do some things here, Mark. I just wonder what it looks like to have fans feel like this was a satisfying season because, like it or not, the bar now for teams of Iowa's level, top 25 team, top 30 team, somewhere in that range annually, is to make the
Hmm.
college football playoff, is to be one of those top 12 teams. Um, so that so how do you get over that disappointment now to be able to enjoy the rest of this season? And obviously a win against Penn State or Oregon at home and screwing up what they're trying to do certainly helps. We saw it with, you know, Michigan in 2017 coming off that awful Penn State game. They come back and they at least get, was that 16? That was 16, right? Ohio State was 17. I'm trying to,
Yes, Ohio State was 17. Yep.
and Michigan was 16 after the
Yes. Yep.
the
Yep.
bad
Yep.
the bad the
Yep.
awful trip to State College. So
Correct.
there's still an opportunity to get memorable wins this season.
I'll say this, and this is one thing I think Kirk has gifted to Iowa fans. There's a pugnacity here. You've seen it in Kirk. He coaches offensive lines. He coaches big guys to keep their elbows in, and 1,000 times a day, every day for the last 35 or whatever years. So there's a pugnacity here, and there's a roll up the sleeves. There's a relatable cussedness, I think, that a lot of Iowa fans, Kirk has gifted into a lot of Iowa fans. That gets them. So that you're right. There is reward. There still is reward out there this season. I mean, 2008 Penn State, man, love beating the shit out, love beating the Nittany Lions at Kinnick when they were number 3 that year. Iowa fans love that shit. You eat it up. Kirk loves that shit. He eats it up. So that is still out there for this team. And then the middle rank war. I mean, you still have to put out a good statement. You want Wisconsin thinking, they still got something going on over there. You want they don't play Illinois. Who else? USC. I would say I welcome USC to the middle ranks because you lost you had a field rush at Illinois and you're just not that good. Sorry, your quarterback's pretty good, but there's a middle rank win. There's something that's a trophy. I don't want to say trophy win, but that's something that hey, remember that time we beat USC? Hell yeah, I remember that time because they were good. They were a good program back in the day, but no, there's a pugnacity when Iowa can be a pain in the ass and actually is. I think everyone's happy.
Yeah, and obviously, when I'm talking about, what is there left to play for, it's certainly outside of the locker room. It's us out here, right? It's
Yeah.
people that
Oh yeah.
watch and talk because we've seen time and time again the, this coaching staff be able to rally the locker room and get things going back in the right direction and finish strong in October and November. So, um, it's a weird dynamic, right, Mark? Because you got a coach towards the end of his career, um, during the times, all those good times, I think people remember, but there's also, you build up your critics through the years, right? And when you're a coach for 27 years and you're doing things the same way, people also have those memories of games like today where you're like, we had it. We had a chance. We put ourselves in position to win the game in the fourth quarter, and we didn't. And now, we're kind of up against it from a season perspective.
And again, I think Kirk kind of digs that. I think he digs the fight. He digs when we've seen Iowa teams respond, but the hard part is now is just knowing exactly what that means because teams can change. Teams, I'm looking at Indiana, can change their fortunes now seemingly a little more quickly. I mean,
28,
you can bring in 72 players if you need to,
they have
and hey,
28.
maybe that craziness works, maybe it doesn't. But that is something we know Iowa is not going to try. They're not going to bring in 72 players. They don't have to, and that's a good thing, I think, mostly. But they're, wandering eye. I mean, there's FOMO here. I get it too. Uh, the one thing that I don't know how this has gone, but there are still ways programs like Iowa can leak away to the elites. And I look at the program assistants. Let's do some accounting on that for a program like Iowa. How many program quote unquote assistants do they have? Are any of them former head coaches? Oh, let me go over to Michigan. You know, how many former head coaches are just sitting in there scouting for 50K a year just to pay the apartment bill in Ann Arbor? Teams like that have that kind of money to be able to fill their room with football brain. Uh, I wonder how that measures out for the middle ranks. I hate to go back on that, but I just wonder how that evens out. Stuff like that. So, you admire when an Indiana rises, when Iowa has one of those years, but you also you hate that guy. You want to be the middle ranked team that breaks the rock, not be the one that helped the Indiana break its damn rock.
Yeah. And, when you coach for 27 years, you see, like you're here and kind of fluctuate, like you say, in that middle. Then you get up towards the top and then maybe come down a little bit. And you're seeing Wisconsin here. and now Wisconsin goes down here,
Yeah,
Illinois
yeah.
down here. Now Illinois is coming up. Indiana was way down here coming up. It's just you see Michigan State, right? Michigan State with D'Antonio, the high level. They've been crap recently. The guy they got from Oregon State may fix this thing and get it turned around. I don't know if he will or not, but Iowa's kind of spent its time in that middle and watched teams pass it and go, go past it and go under it but it's 27 years. That's going to happen, right?
Yeah, and the thing is to is your return on investment enough? I mean, are you getting enough out of the solidness? Is the thrill there on Saturdays?
It's
It
the
is in the fourth quarter when it comes down to that one possession that you know it wasn't going to come down to, and there it is again. Oh goddamn! But yeah, there is that middle rank, and there is, and so there then it comes a better debate in my mind. I think Kirk does things the way he does them because he thinks this is the only way Iowa can compete with teams with speed, teams, however you want to define that, elite teams, what it's going to take to win the Big Ten, whatever. I think this is the style Kirk really truly believes Iowa has to play, and he wins the debate. He's not going to listen to anybody else on this. Um, you either kind of in year 27 you've either adapted and you're still with it. You might grumble about it, but you're still with it. But you haven't divorced from it. I mean, you haven't divorced from it, and because you're starting to go, God damn, that one did come down the fourth quarter, and so I think most Iowa fans are okay with that ride. But when it becomes 3-9 and you have eight one loss, one score wins, that's when the ledger kind of tilts all over you and shit comes downhill.
it's the it's the be careful what you wish for crowd. We've heard this all the time to the
Yes.
we can do what Indiana's doing right now. We can do what Virginia Tech did. We can
Right.
be one of those schools that rises up and competes with the best. And Iowa's done that in certain years, but not consistently. It's more like this season, where it's like if the ball bounces your way, you get to 9, 10 wins, 8, 9, 10 wins. If it doesn't, you're in that 7 range, maybe 8, if depending on what the schedule looks like. Um, but I don't know. I mean, Iowa fans will have to know um, where they feel they are now. But I know when I was there today at kickoff, there were 70,000 people jammed in those seats cheering their asses off. So they certainly
Oh,
haven't they haven't left yet.
and they were hoping that the game came down to the fourth
Yeah.
quarter and maybe one possession. They were hoping for that. And I think everybody's in on it. I mean, at 27 years, um, you really can't anymore slap your forehead and go, "Why isn't Kirk trying this?" I mean, it's not even that argument anymore. It's it's how long you can endure this. I mean, a little bit. You ride and die, like I said, but there's also an endurance when you want to blow off the doors of some of these teams. You want to make a statement. It's just not built that way. So kind of hang on for dear life. And I think that's the mode this year. And we'll see about Gronowski's injury, but I think Kirk loves that shit. I think he loves the grind. I think he loves making something out of nothing, grinding the coffee, all that weird old coach shit, man. It's a voodoo, and I think he loves it. Now, does the alchemy come out of this? Do they find a Sam Brownlee? It takes the organization to write the happy ending. Is the organization there? Things crumble pretty fast when I get to number two QB for whatever reason. The number two QB does not just get the reps with an Iowa program. That's how it is. I think that's how you kind of have to do it. Um, but not then it not now then it becomes more of endurance. I mean, how long are you gonna hang in there with your ride and die coach?
I do think if Gronowski is out, and I haven't seen the injury. Mark thinks it's a knee. I saw
Yeah,
some different whatever it is, if it's an MCL sprain or something, it could be weeks.
Yeah.
There's so many variations of that, but I do think Iowa's in a better shape than it was in recent years with the backup because I think Hank Brown has a decent future. It's just, is he ready now? It's not like Deacon Hill was a super kid, man. I love the kid when he was here, but he wasn't a Big Ten quarterback, and when Iowa
No.
had to go to him, it was not good. I don't think Iowa's in that position now. I think it's a much better room now than it was 2 years ago.
Agree. It's a different room. I mean, that was a Brian room, right? And
Yes.
but it goes to show, I think mostly. I mean, I don't want to judge Iowa's QB room in the current state because I don't know the players as well. Back then, it was hodgepodge. It was guys who were 1 stars or pocket passer 5 stars who really probably were 1 stars, and it was those guys. It was MAC guys. I mean, what the caliber of quarterback was. It was hit and miss. I mean, you got a Stanzi who had some time in the NFL, Beathard who finally threw a pass in the NFL, or the guys that you ended up with toward the end there that kind of created the chasm there for Brian, or the tar pit. Now,
Demarcation line was Nate Stanley, right? After Nate Stanley, that's
right,
when the
right.
troubles began. And there were a lot of
Yeah,
people who didn't like Nate
Iowa settles
Stanley.
in with a guy. It stays. But Stanley, yeah, Stanley. I think people would love to have his level of consistency, which probably was his worst thing. So they would take that. But anyway, Hank Brown, we don't know. And like I said, I'm not going to judge. I do like the fact that he was recruited to Auburn. Um, I don't know who the other QB. I don't know who number 3 is. If it gets there,
It's
then
I think his last name is Hecklinski, and he is from Wake Forest.
okay.
Also a young kid. I think he's a year behind Hank Brown. So those are the guys that they brought in to be their future from Auburn and Wake Forest. It's just crazy thinking about them. They got a quarterback room with a guy from South Dakota State, guy from Auburn, and a guy from Wake Forest. But again, I think they like that kid too. They're young, they're getting thrown to the wolves here if they have to play.
But honestly, scope back a little bit. Do you not hate that for your QB room? Do you not want to have one guy you recruited and who has been immersed in your system for at least one summer? To me, that's a hodgepodge, and it's going to be it. The talent of coach, it's going to take a massive touchdown connection, whatever you want to say. It's going to take in my mind, just like a guy drops in your lap and he fits perfectly because it's hard to build and learn. And I think we were during the Brian years, it was drummed into our heads how hard it is to learn Iowa QB. And now it's basically street free agent stuff. And I have a hard time thinking that can work. And do you understand what I'm saying on that one?
Yeah, part of it is, I mean, I wonder how much, and this is like the age-old um, question with Iowa. Is it the quarterback? Because we saw that with Gronowski
Hmm.
this year. Just plenty of time to throw, but not seeing open receivers or the receivers not open. Those are the same receivers that Hank Brown and Hecklinski are going to have if they play. So are you giving the quarterback enough weapons to be able to compete? You saw the Indiana receivers today. They're not the Iowa receivers. And that's no disrespect to those guys. Again, different room.
Different room. And so one thing that really jumped out to me was how Indiana must really practice pass throwing the ball. I mean,
Yes.
that was the thing they wanted to get to today. They wanted to show off the artillery. Iowa shut it down and it made them run a little bit, and they kind of unplugged that. It's what your program emphasizes. So I imagine, let's say Iowa recruiting fantasy football. You assume quarterback's number one, probably offensive line, maybe running back, defensive lineman and offensive lineman. I would put them together. If you can get a flashy safety, corners, obviously. wide receivers way down on that list, Rob, way down. And I think the recruiting world, football players look at that. I mean, you remember the Texas Exodus? Those guys looked at it and go, wait a minute, you guys don't throw the ball. So that's it. Goodbye. And so it's what you want. I mean, obviously, I don't know where wide receiver fits on Indiana's fantasy football. They obviously got Elijah Schrodt, and that made a difference today. Iowa's really, again, piecing it together. You're piecing together quarterback, you're piecing together wide receiver. You're kind of getting to get half baked. You just are.
Yes, and it's not. I mean, you think about. I mean, the knock, it was always like nobody had thrown a pass. Iowa former Iowa quarterback had thrown a pass in the NFL for however many years until Beathard did it. Think about,
Right.
for the 27 years, how many receivers have played in the NFL from Iowa?
So I screwed that up. I said Tim Dwight was the last Iowa wide receiver to catch a pass in the NFL. And holy shit, Twitter jumped all over me. Hey, Mark, Amir Smith Marset. And I was
Yeah,
like, oh, shit, I'm sorry. Yeah, yeah, Amir Smith Marset. Before that, it was Tim Dwight, who is probably closer to 50 than 40. So, yeah. Rob, in the back of my mind, one fantasy I have for my Iowa friends is that eventually, someday, a second round quarterback falls in your lap. I mean, he just has to go to Iowa. They make it work, and he gets to the NFL. Where does Iowa go with that guy? Iowa goes probably has sort of a Brett Favre season where they beat Southern Miss, beat Florida State, which was unheard of. You're gonna have that guy will take you places, but where is that guy? You got to call that guy. You got to see if he's out there. Right now, they're happy to have bodies. It feels like.
and if that guy is looking and he's like, "Yee," oof, and he's
Great
like,
offensive lineman. Great offensive lineman.
"I'll be
Come on, come on.
protected. I just have nobody to throw it to." And again, I don't, I mean, I think Iowa has some good receivers. Again, did a tight end catch a pass today, Mark?
I think so. There was a few. So that was one of the things I did like. They were dinking and dunking a little bit.
They throw to the
And
tight ends? I don't remember.
there was one. I know. I think there was one, at least one reception. Let me
Okay.
double check.
Vonnegut had four catches, and that was
Yeah.
no Hayden Lawyer. So DJ Vonnegut he
Yeah.
had four
So,
catches for
so
16, 16
and
yards.
honestly, Rob, that's part of it too, in my mind. So TJ Hawkinson and Noah Fan aren't out there. They're not out there learning guys. So when Van Ammi caught the pass today, it reminded me. I had a flashback in the '80s with Chuck Long throwing to Mike Flagg for 8 yards. Run to 8 yards. Mike Flagg was, I think he ended up finishing his career at Iowa as an offensive tackle. So, uh, just run out and stand in front of a linebacker and post up. Unfortunately, I think Iowa is depleted at tight end. They don't have um, uh, Hawkinson. They don't have those guys that
They
blow
don't
up.
even have
Yeah,
Addison
they don't.
Travis,
They can't pass
number
line.
one from the beginning of the
Yeah.
year.
So this is, if Kirk won't do this, but if you really kind of go down the list, and this would probably, I would say, Rob, this would have been a Thursday story for me. What has that, who has the offense missed, and exactly what are they missing? Where does it hurt? And that, why in the red zone? Because, well, you don't have that 6'4" tight end who can run like a deer right past a linebacker. You don't have that right now. You don't have the wide receiver like Brandon Smith who could post a guy up, who could you could credibly throw an out pass to, and you had a better than 30% chance that he's going to pull it down, which is pretty high percentage, I think, for an Iowa wide receiver. So yeah, there's all of that is lacking, and I think with this offense, that makes the punting thing, that's the switchblade. But unfortunately, you got to be patient, and you got to be patient with a quarterback you bought and a coach who might be in his last year. I think it's an incredibly interesting season, no matter what happens, really, in the W and Ls.
Yeah, I agree because it's a lot of football to be played here. Only 5 games of 12 have been played. Next week is the bye week. Then you get a very winnable game at Wisconsin. Then you come home for a to be determined time and station for that Penn State game. And you know the networks are like, oh, Penn State going to Kinnick at night. That's an upset special. Let's line that one up. And you can see the TV executives saying, yeah, let's get that one. So there's some
Yeah.
opportunities. Oregon maybe at night. Some chances for some good memories again at Kinnick this year.
Relevance. They want
Yeah.
relevance. That's what they're shooting for now. And the most noise you can make, the better. You probably won't make. They probably won't make it. They probably won't do fireworks. I mean, it's going to be grind ball, but be the somebody's pain in the ass. I mean, that's. I think Iowa fans love that shit.
Yep, I agree. And we will be here to talk about it whether you like it or not. Um, next week
We still
is
not liked up there. We still not liked. That's too bad.
you're
Uh,
probably liked more than me, but that's relative, right? And it's not. I wouldn't do a
I,
victory lap on
I'm a damn sweetheart.
that.
Uh,
I'm a
no,
really nice guy. I just have opinions that people don't like. So
I'm just a little more political with my opinions. I mean, I think everybody kind of know. I mean, I'm wearing a T-shirt with a '60s documentary filmmaker. I think everybody can kind of figure out that Mark, oh yeah, he's kind of a hippie. So I just let him go with that. And labels, well, people kind of freak out sometimes, Rob, when I tell them I used to be a sports writer. Some people don't know how to take that. It's kind of funny.
yeah,
I used to be a sports writer. What the hell is that?
it's funny because it's funny you say that because I don't think people have like an image of what it is. And then I took my father-in-law. I won't make this a long story, but I took my father-in-law with me to an Iowa basketball game I was covering
Hmm.
20, 25 years ago or whatever. And I was watching him. He was just taking everything in, right? He was just absorbed because it was a new world for him, right? And he's
Yeah.
like, "This is really strange, man. What you what you people do." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's my profession, and yeah, it's been fun. I've enjoyed it. The career may not have is maybe not ending the way I've envisioned it because I envisioned, as we talked about a few weeks ago, the Oscar Madison thing and staying in
Hmm.
newspapers my whole life. Didn't work out that way, but I've done work that I'm proud of. And I enjoy doing this podcast with Mark because I know he's walked in the same footsteps. We kind of have a connection that way because it's a
Yeah.
different world. It's a different
It
life.
is a different one. Yeah. 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 So, Rob, I still have anxiety today. That game got over. It's like, oh my God, I should be writing. I
Yeah.
should be writing. Oh, I can't breathe. No, it went away. I'm all good. But yeah, the sports writing life, you're right. I mean, it changed so much. I remember I wasn't gonna do. I said they put a video camera in my hand. And I looked at him like, guys, I can't do this. I'm taking notes. And then the next press conference, Randy Peterson, 20 years older than me, for Des Moines Register, video camera. I'm like, God damn it, Randy, you're selling me out. So I had to do the video camera because Randy was doing it. God damn it. And then Scott made me podcasts, and I was like, oh man, I don't have time for this. By the end, I was like, let's get to the podcast. I like doing that part. So you live and learn, and you become, I had the TV show with Zach, man. That
Yeah.
was fun. That was fun. I got nervous as hell, but Zach was always cool, and I always had a good time. I didn't know how much I could be, cowboy up with references on that one. I was kind of careful, but you did that too, and and so it changed. I mean, you think you're typing into a Radio Shack computer. No, kids, you're out there actually broadcasting, and I always love what Bob Brooks said about us fake broadcasters. Everybody thinks they're a broadcaster. I love that shit. That was hilarious.
And a lot of people think they're writers too, or TV
Yeah, there's
personalities.
that. There's that.
And,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
you do what you can do, right? You try to make it to you just try to make it to the finish line, Mark, and feel good about it, right? You still have some
Yeah.
oxygen left when you get there. That's what I'm hoping for.
It's what you know what as long as your bones are working, keep that moving. Don't sit too damn much. Holy shit. Don't do that. I went from a job sitting on my ass for 30 years to sitting on my ass. And oh my God, my back is like, dude, get up. So yeah, get up and move your ass. Start podcasting because I guess that's the way to do it.
Excellent advice. Yeah, do a podcast. Somebody will listen. I think people, I don't listen to podcasts myself personally, but I know a lot of people like just consume them, you know, by the
I've
ton.
actually started. I've started and it is I can totally get it with people who spend time on exercise machines.
Yeah.
You need your brain to go somewhere not there. And I totally get that. I listen to some market podcasts and the good old Grateful Dead podcast. I'm not outing myself, but yeah. Last week I listened to oh shit, what's the name of the song? I'm blanking, but a whole 2 hour podcast about one song, and it was fantastic.
That's the awesomeness of the podcast, right? You can listen to very specific topics, right? Or
Yes,
whatever you're
yes.
into. And that's what's great. And so hopefully people are into this podcast. We're almost to the midway point of the season, so they haven't shown.
Franklin's Tower was the song. My bad. Sorry, I had to get that out.
We may do something next week for the bye week, and I may search for
Sure.
an extra old head to come on to give us another perspective during the bye
Come
week.
on, Miller. You know you want to shoot the shit.
We'll
Or Pat.
figure
That would be fun.
we'll figure somebody out. Maybe we'll bring multiple people. Maybe we'll do like a Brady Bunch squares thing. Who knows? Or Hollywood squares, whatever squares you want.
A lot of old farting around. So yeah, no, there's nothing. You know what? So I like the fact. I hope that that covering a program, and I think I was kind of blessed with the amount of voices that actually do cover it. I don't know if it's the same. I don't know if there's. I imagine there's still a lot, but just if the community, I enjoy that. I'm like I said last week or a couple weeks ago. I'm not looking to spread my wings and take anybody's lunch money. I
Relevant.
just like
We want to be. We're here to be relevant, Mark.
that. I just like to be part of the community, and I'd like to have voice with you guys. I like to actually hear from folks. I thought the screen pass would have pissed everyone off today on the old blue sky, but no, they're like, oh, that's okay. That's just the execution. I'm like, well, okay, then all right, then we move on.
I was kind of toggling back but forth between Twitter and Blue Sky today, and just the whole vibe is different on those two platforms. But that's a podcast for a different day. We're done
Yeah,
with this podcast because I'm
got it.
tired. It's after 7 o'clock. I need to get some food and kind of watch. I think Penn State and Oregon's on tonight, so I may watch a little bit of that thing.
That one is on. And I always, my friend Brendan Stiles, I always want to go to him on whatever social media. Go, Brendan, what game should I watch? Please help me out.
He will give you the correct directions to what you want to do.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that for
He
sure.
is locked in, always has been, and a good guy as well. All right, folks, that's going to do it for the Old Head Hawkeye Rapid Reaction podcast for this week. We're hoping for a better result on homecoming, but the way that stadium cleared out after that last touchdown and everybody was heading downtown, I'm sure people are coping with the loss, and we wish them well. And we will talk to you guys next week. Remember, bye week before Wisconsin. So thank you so much for listening, and